Okay, so they're bringing up to me, this is interesting because I was writing about this last night in the course that we're creating on the spirit guide communication. And Spirit is talking about how when you try to do something, so when you're trying, you're putting in a lot of effort, you're really trying. They said often when you really try to do something, on the other side of that, you also meet, it's also very possible when you're in that energy of trying, so pushing, forcing, trying really hard, you're also often met with resistance. So trying on one side and resistance on the other side. And it's like the more you try to do something, it's often that the more resistance we feel from the other side. So what they were saying with that is like, instead of trying so hard to do something, or if you find yourself really trying so hard to do something and meeting some resistance or blockages or roadblocks or obstacles, they said switch your energy from trying so hard to an intention of what you're trying to achieve. You'll notice that trying to do something and having an intention to do something is a completely different energy. Intention, when you have an intention, you're in the energy of abundance and trust and belief and faith, and you know it's going to work out for you, no matter how it happens. When you're trying to do something, you're more so in an energy of scarcity and fear and anxiety and force, and you're trying to kind of control an outcome, or you've got certain expectations, or you're trying to force something to work the way that you want it to. And you'll notice that they're very different energies that you feel. So if you're in the trying mode, you're going to meet resistance. When you meet resistance, you're not flowing properly with what you're not flowing with the energies properly of whatever this is. When you're in intention, you move into a flowing state where you receive less resistance and more alignment. So notice the messages. Notice when you're trying. And notice when you have an intention, because trying is putting yourself in a place where you're looking for an outcome. And intention is in a place where you're not looking for a specific outcome, but you have a general idea of what you're trying to kind of move towards, but you're not so concerned about the how. Okay, how it happens. But when you're trying, you're concerned about the how. So just be very conscientious of those two things, because you'll notice when you're feeling resistance from either yourself or from others or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you know that you need to take a step back. Okay. When you're in intention, the energy flows a lot more smoothly than it does when you're trying. Okay, so that's the first thing that they're saying. I hope that made sense. And they're basically just saying there, we can get you what you desire, but you need to trust us. So when you're trying and you're meeting resistance, you're not trusting. When you're moving into intention and belief, then you are trusting, okay? And they're using this term for me with all of this, and they're calling, I don't know why, but they're calling it this whole thing, they're calling it a single occupancy zone. Okay, so That is, and I asked them what they mean by that, and they're basically saying this is for you. You are the occupant of the only one occupant of this energy. So you are driving this, not anybody else. So whether you're going to sit in the zone of trying and meeting resistance, or if you're going to sit in the zone of intention and meeting flow and alignment, that is a single person job. So that is coming from your own energy field, okay? And it's something that you produce those energies. Either way you go about it. There's no one else involved, even though it may feel like that, or that may be the illusion. This is about understanding that you are the occupant of that energy, if that makes sense, and you choose the direction you want to go with that. All the power is at your fingertips here, okay? And also they're saying, like, for the situations where you find yourself in, so whether that's now or in the future, where you are trying and you are meeting resistance, they're just saying, let it be a lesson. Like, don't sweat it. Just let it all be a lesson. And then once you start integrating what you've learned now, moving forward, you get to where you want to go a lot quicker, because it just clicks. You start to understand why you're learning those certain things. So they just said, let everything be a lesson. Where you are trying and it's not working, or you're meeting resistance, that is always a lesson, and just see what you get out of it, instead of taking it as like oh, I shouldn't have done that, or just beating yourself up about it, or oh, I shouldn't have gone about it that way, or I shouldn't have said this or done that. Forget that. Just take it as a lesson and then integrate it into the next time, because it's a really good chance you're going to get to do that or face that lesson again and apply yourself differently. So just take everything as a lesson, okay? And they're also saying just now, like, honor yourself too where you are feeling stuck, because when you are feeling stuck, it means you're hitting or strumming kind of a chord of healing that needs to be done. Okay, so whenever you find yourself in that situation and you do feel stuck, there's something related in a way that needs to be healed. And so they just say, honor where you're at when you feel yourself in that stuck energy, and see what needs to be worked through or looked at or uncovered or given more love and attention, because it's the stuck feeling is indicating that there needs to be more love there. There needs to be more love and light and healing energies sent to that spot of stuck feeling. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know that's a little hard for me to explain, but see the stuck as a learning opportunity. Okay. So it's 11:29 and it's going to kick me off in a minute or two, but is everybody following so far? Do you understand? Am I saying it correctly? I got 2 minutes, so just checking to see, and then once time is up, we will sign off of this one, and then we'll rejoin and I'll keep going for another half hour. Okay. Just wanting to know if you're following what I'm saying. Okay. You get it. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Carrie. Thanks for being here. you'll notice, when you start getting into your own connection with your spirit guides, that they speak a different language. And so it's literally like having to observe what they're saying and speaking and communicating and translate it into the spoken word. So it's sometimes takes me a moment to actually understand how to say it to you. So it's literally like translating another language into the English language. Okay, so but there's a whole module on that in the course, and I think you'll like it. But okay, good. So Jenna says, I'm writing questions out and then you say the answer. That's hilarious. Okay, so Gina says, yeah, what I'm going through right now. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so good. I'm glad you're getting it. So I've got 30 seconds, so I'm just going to end this live. I'll post it to the IGTV, and then I'm going to rejoin and we'll keep going, okay? So just hang tight for like 2 minutes while I do that, and we will keep going and keep rocking and keep channeling. Okay, thanks, guys. I will see you in like 2 minutes, okay? Thanks. All right, see you soon. Hello, everybody. Thanks, guys, for coming back so quickly. It just takes me a second to upload that last video to the IGTV, and they made it more complicated than it usually is, so it just takes me a second to do that. All right, so I think most of you are back. Just give it maybe a sec. So we do talk about also in the first course from the Conscious Her, we do talk about, in the Spirit Guide course, we do talk about resistance as well. So if you guys are kind of resonating with that whole theme on resistance and what that feels like, we talk about kind of how to work through that, and kind of in the kind of last module. So it's interesting stuff. So I think you'll like it. All right, so I'm just gonna, there's a few of us, so I'm just gonna keep going till probably around noon, and that'll be it for the day. And then I will keep you kind of in the loop on how we're gonna move forward with the lives. But just for anybody that is joining now that didn't, that wasn't in the last kind of segment there, everything's gonna be moving over to the Conscious Her. Okay, so Genesis, what's the animal book you have? So the animal book is this one here. It's called Animal Spirit Guides by Stephen D. Farmer. It's a very, very good book, and you can get it right off of Amazon. It's one of the best books I have on spirit animals, so I highly recommend you get this book. And I do post about it every once in a while on my crystal theory page, just for different animals. So yeah, it's an amazing book. It's easy to spot it on Amazon because of the cover. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna get back into it for another kind of half hour or so, and check in with you in a bit, okay? So just on the last thing we were kind of talking about there about resistance and feeling stuck. So Spirit had previously just said, you know, make sure you're honoring where you're at when you feel stuck, because that's indicating a layer of healing, a deeper kind of layer of healing that needs to happen. But they also point out that it's also very important for you that when you do feel or meet that resistance and stuck feeling, part of doing the healing work is also moving forward. So you are going to be encouraged to keep moving even when you do feel that. So you can still honor where you are, but moving forward includes honoring kind of that feeling of, you know, honoring where you are and realizing there's a deeper healing work, and then kind of making the first step forward to address that healing work. So they are just talking about, okay, recognize and honor where you are, and also we're going to be encouraging you to find ways to keep moving, so not to stay stagnant, because as energetic beings, we know that we are never in the same place. We're always moving. So as energy beings, we need to keep moving and flowing and adjusting. So just know that you're going to feel some more encouragement, maybe by your own guides, to keep moving, even when you find yourself in that place. Okay? So a week or two ago, we talked about this idea of feeling like life or a certain situation in your life is kind of like this big knot. And they said it's the moving forward that unravels the knot and that makes things flow a lot more. So there's so much more benefit in keeping your energy moving and flowing and adapting than it is staying stuck and still and stagnant. Okay, so it's the moving forward that unravels the knot. So whether if this is your life or a circumstance that you're in or a situation you're dealing with, so just remember that the moving forward unravels the knot. So as you move forward, kind of with intention, like we talked about, you're going to get other supporting forces to assist you in the process, and then things become more clear. Okay? And they're also saying that often our energy levels, so the amount of physical energy we have, also mirrors the amount of healing that needs to be done. So when you're feeling like more fatigued or lethargic or slower or just kind of in a lower place, your energy levels are going to kind of reflect that. And when they show that, it means that there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. Whereas when you're in a place that is you're energetic, you're feeling lots of vitality, happiness, your healing work is not as crucial at that time. Okay, so lower energy, more healing, higher energy, less healing needed at that time. This changes all the time, you guys, but just make sure you're giving yourself this awareness that if you are feeling low, or lethargic or stuck or stagnant, or you're not sure what's going on, it's signaling to you that there's some healing work that needs to be done, and it's up to you to kind of uncover, identify, and even just work with your own spirit team to help you with it, to help you focus on what that is. It's like our physical body is letting us know that there's an imbalance somewhere else. So your body tells you almost everything. So pay attention to the physical sense as well, okay? So there's a huge difference between the two. So especially for anybody right now that's in that area of kind of low, slower kind of vibe energy, pay attention to where the healing is needed, okay? It's your body's way of telling you, hey, there's some healing needed here, okay? And also, when we're looking at low versus high, you're going to also see that when you're in that low zone, you're also might be in an area of resistance. Okay, so pay attention to that. So low, you're going to feel resistance. High, you're going to feel less resistance because you're going with the flow, you're adapting, you're changing, you're moving forward, and you are listening to your spirit team. And a lot of times when you're in resistance zone, you're not listening. So just pay attention to those two things as well. And also Spirit is saying that you may find that kind of coming up here, you're gonna get like random people, family members and stuff, usually somebody in your people in your smaller kind of circle who feel like they're kind of nipping at you randomly, okay? And this is another opportunity to focus on yourself at this time. And let me just ask what this whole thing is about with your family. So they're saying instilling sense of self and boundaries to begin with. And they're also saying like sometimes some of us may have family members that are maybe too involved with our lives or what needs to be healed. And it seems like throughout this time, we need to be the person that is facilitating and kind of like hosting our own healing. And sometimes we need to do that on our own. Like we need to navigate it ourselves. Sometimes having family members are, they're always amazing, can always be amazing support systems, but sometimes they're not helpful. Sometimes they just are not in a place to be able to like help us the way that we need to heal. And so sometimes we have to take on some things through our own, the kind of deep healing work, our own self-reflection, our own kind of stuff, It needs to be done by ourselves. And sometimes we're going to want family members who want to intervene, and sometimes it just is not going to work for us. There's some things that the healing work needs to be done and facilitated by your own sacred space and time, and it can't always involve other people. And that's not to say I don't encourage you to have a community of people around you to assist you in your healing. I'm just saying that our spirit is just saying that, like, sometimes you just need to do that for yourself. You need to find your own sacred space and time to facilitate your own healing without the influence of other people, particularly family members who feel at this time like they might be kind of nipping at you when you need to be sensitive. And it can kind of muddle things if you don't have clear boundaries and sense of self. Okay. Okay, so a little while ago, a few weeks ago, I talked about this whole very simple concept of what Spirit is calling water breaks. Water breaks, okay? So this is when you simply just take a break in your day to go and very presently have a glass of water. And they're saying, like, just being able to stand there and be grateful for the water that you're drinking and feel it, feel it come down your kind of esophagus, and just appreciate the water and just be very present. This is another way to support yourself energetically. Not only water is amazing for your energetic being, but also just to remain present, especially if you're doing any kind of deeper or more hardcore healing work. They're bringing up this notion of water breaks again. And I know that sounds kind of silly and simple, but they're saying there's a lot of power behind doing this. And when I'm saying like water breaks, I'm meaning like you're not looking at your phone, you're not watching TV, you're just literally standing there with a glass of water or whatever, and just really appreciating drinking the water and just being grateful for the water, and like bringing your attention more onto the physical body. That helps take your mind off of things. So just maybe integrate that into your own kind of daily practice. And they're also saying with any deeper healing work that needs to be done right now, this is not the time to kind of put those things off on the side or up on the shelf and I'll get to it later. This is the time to take those things and put it right in front of you, to put it in the forefront of yourself, to start kind of unpacking and unwrapping. Okay, so do your best to kind of bring up the things that need to be healed and put them in front of you to work on, and keep moving, as they say, keep moving with it. Flow with that energy, let it work with you. Okay. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Okay, and so also they're just saying, if you're not sure how to do something, if you're not sure how to go about the healing, or you know what is needed to be healed, but you don't know what way to go about it, they're just saying you can write it down. So write it down in your journal or whatever, wherever you like to write or keep your stuff. Write it down, and they said when you write it down with the intention of moving forward is the theme, then your spirit team is going to help you with that. So if you write it down, you make it more concrete. You put it in the forefront of your mind and of your energy, and you can start drawing in other energies to help you with this. Okay. So spirit can work through you with your inquiry or your question directly or indirectly. Okay. It's kind of about putting the intention out there. Okay, hey, this needs to be healed. I'm not quite sure how to go about it. Now I'm going to let the universe and my spirit team help me with this. Okay. So they're just saying you can write it down if you're not sure how to go about it. And this is beautiful. They're just saying that the healing work that you do, it becomes a story, or it can become a story that one day, if you choose to follow through with your healing, it can become a story, especially once you've resolved it, that can at one point or in the future help someone else. Okay, so it's always really great to do your own healing work, because you never know how your own, how having the courage to do your own healing work can become a story that can one day help someone else and give them the courage and faith and belief they need to work through whatever they're struggling with. This is another way to be a light worker. This is another way to help raise the consciousness of our global community to kind of the new paradigm of light that we often talk about. So just know that. Spirit is just talking to me about the importance of really taking in your surroundings every day, your environment, kind of your external. And they're just saying that the reason it's so important to just slow down and be aware is because there's answers to your healing everywhere. Okay? And we often get so kind of bogged down in our own stuff. We move into our own little world zone, and we don't realize how much information and how much guidance the universe really is giving us. So Spirit is just recommending for you to slow down and really pay attention to your surroundings, your environment, and really open up your awareness. And this is another way that we also sharpen our psychic and intuitive senses as well. But they're just saying there that information to help you and your own healing, and not even if it's healing, it could be anything, is always there for you. Okay, so basically they're saying that the universe is always speaking to you. And that's what I am getting from that. So as you go through this process of putting your healing at the forefront, just make yourself very aware and try your best not to get too in your own little world, because you block off that guidance coming in when you do that. And it's easy to get into that zone when you're going through something that's difficult or hard. Okay. All right. Hi, Vasana. Okay. And they're also saying we must not take for granted the little things that come through that give us the big ideas. So this is another way of saying when you're more aware of what's going on around you, you can pick up on the little things that provide the inspiration for the biggest breakthroughs, the biggest ideas, the biggest inspirations, the things that help you heal. They come often from little things. Little kind of chance happenings or situations or what have you. So that's pretty cool. So it's pay attention to the little things that happen. They feed that process of moving forward with your healing. Okay. And also Spirit is saying it's really great to journal those things. So the little things that turn into big ideas, not only the little things to journal about, but also the things that, the kind of epiphanies that you have, or are the bigger thoughts or big ideas that come to you. It's really great to journal those things and keep them on paper to remind yourself of, and to read through. And this is especially true if you don't have anybody that you can trust to talk to about when you do have these breakthroughs. It's really great to journal, because when you're journaling, you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're also kind of indirectly working with your spirit team that way too, as we just talked about. So don't kind of underestimate the power of journaling through all this healing stuff, okay? And they're saying the more you heal, the less resistance you face, okay? The more you heal, the more you move into flow state. And the more you move into flow state, the more you are moving into alignment. Okay, so now they're just bringing up, we talk a lot about trying and resistance and all that. And what they're just saying to me now is that there are lots of people around you who, that don't have this kind of awareness of what we're talking about. They can make you feel, they can almost fool you in the sense they tell you, you can hear it from the other, people around you or other sources, that either you're not trying hard enough, you're not doing this enough, you're not being this, or that enough. It's all about this, not trying, you're not doing, you're not being enough. And what Spirit is just saying is that that's ridiculous, because the person and the being that you are is already enough as you are. Okay, you are already always enough. You're more than enough. So what they're saying is that you can easily be fooled by these kind of words and phrases and beliefs that other people can throw onto you that, put you into that state of trying so hard and then meeting resistance. Whereas that's ridiculous, because you already are enough just as you are. So next time you hear that from other people, just remind yourself, no, I'm already enough. I don't have to try so hard. I don't have to believe I'm not enough, or I don't have to, say those things to myself, because I already am enough. And just by being enough, I can just simply change my my focus and say, I already am enough, and this is my intention. And when I use my intention, then I move into flow state. So they're basically just saying you don't fall into that trap of people trying to tell you need to try harder, or do more, or be this or be that, or you're not enough, or you're not doing this enough. Like, forget that. That's ridiculous, okay? So don't be fooled by that. Don't let yourself sink into that energy, okay? Because the more you're in that energy, the more resistance and stuck and stagnant you feel, okay? Okay, and they're just saying coming up for like the next month here, so the month of June, they're just saying I'm not sure about the what's going on in terms of lunar activity, but they're just saying they're just saying that when we get the new moon or the full moon or that activity happening, that we may just feel a little bit more sensitive, and also to pay attention as to what's going on with you energetically and whatever you're healing around those times, because you may gain a little bit more insight as to what's going on. So it's like the moon is kind of going to highlight those things for us a little bit more. So you may want to pay attention to the dreams that you're having or what you're experiencing around those days or those times. So just something to pay attention coming up in June. And they're just telling me a little bit more about like the theme really coming up over the next month is really about intention. We've talked a lot about that today, but the theme is really about intention and really reminding yourself about the power of intention and also the power of detachment. So intention with detachment. And also they're just saying over this next month, there's a lot of power in creating whatever it is you want to create in your life, whatever that looks like. It starts with the moving, like fully and wholeheartedly moving your energy and attention to your intention on things. So that's kind of the biggest thing to pay attention to right now, whether you're doing your healing work or you're creating something, or you are kind of using your energies to solve an issue or to make a big change in your life, or whatever it is. Okay, so just focus as much as you can on your being in the intention energy that we've talked about today, rather than that trying and resistance energy. Okay. And they're just finishing off by saying, you know that you're in the intention and detachment and flow energy because you feel lighter. You physically feel lighter. When you're in the trying, the resistance, the stagnant energy, you feel heavier. Okay, so it's interesting. They're talking a lot about how you can sense some underlying energies in the different fields physically today. So you may want to watch back if you haven't been on kind of the last segment. If we talk a lot about matching the physical feeling with the emotional and mental happenings. So just think about that too. When you feel heavier, when you feel lighter, the lighter you feel, the more in flow state and the more in alignment you are. Okay, hope that makes sense. So how's everyone doing? So it's 12 now.